Hey guys, Squirtle here, and today, well, as you guys can probably tell from the image on screen, we're going to be doing some NASCAR coverage of just the NASCAR kind of scene for 2019. The video is probably named like NASCAR 2019 question mark or something like that. So we're going to be kind of going through all the stuff we know and what we think may be coming. So I figured I'd start off with probably one of the less unknown things was shock and surprise. Trevor Bayne will not be back in the sixth car in 2019, but actually, kind of a surprise that um, his replacement will not be a full time Matt Kenseth, but instead will be full time Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman, who has been driving the 31 Camaro for RCR most for the most recent years, will be driving the sixth car at Daytona this coming year in 2019. And yeah, so we're looking to just kind of see how Ryan Newman will do in the sixth car over here. Like, I'm interested to see how Ryan Newman does when he gets behind the wheel of the sixth car, and kind of see if he'll be able to do kind of what Matt Kenseth has done, or if he'll be able to rise above Matt Kenseth, or if he won't do it as much. I feel like you do still need a veteran there to kind of help with, because you've got Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who is still a fairly young driver comparatively to some of the other guys they'd be bringing in. And I don't think he knows enough yet to really kind of carry the team as the experienced veteran on the team to kind of help build some info for non-restrictor plate tracks. For restrictor plate tracks, I think he would be fine as kind of their main go-to person for setups and stuff. But someone like Kenseth or Newman for tracks like, oh, I don't know, Charlotte, Kansas, the mile and a half, mile-long tracks, things like that Ricky has not traditionally been great at. I think that's a great move um, Roush Fenway in total. But of course, that leaves a question: who's filling in RCR's 31 car? Well, thank you for asking me, but we've already had that. We had that announced this weekend, getting ready for Roval weekend, and it will be Daniel Hamrick. So I've just put his 8 car up there because that was the image I could find for Daniel Hamrick. That wasn't Xfinity, but yeah. So my now, so it's been confirmed he will be filling in the other seat at RCR. Question will be, will he be driving the 8 or the 31? Now, I'm leaning towards he'll be driving the 8, and he'll be signed on for like a 2 to 3 year contract, or however long Ty Dillon's contract at Germain Racing is that he just re-signed, which is because I think RCR will try and get the Dillon brothers on the team, kind of running the 3 and 8 cars, and be like, oh, we're the family team, and play it up like that. That's just kind of what I feel like they're gonna try and do, just kind of money wise. I think Daniel Hemrick is the right choice in this case for the for kind of the what's it called, for the new driver in. I'd say though Ty Dillon definitely should not come and take this and basically do a seat swap where Hemrick goes to the 13 and Ty Dillon takes the 8 car. But I actually think Austin Dillon should maybe move to the 13. Ty should be out of this series at this point for at least a few years so that he can have time to learn the cars better and put some veteran like Matt Kenseth in the 3 car or whatever car they end up using, because they may not continue the 3 car if it isn't one of the Dillon brothers. But yeah, so that's just my 2 cents. Kind of, I feel like they will end up using the 8 car to get those Dale Jr. vibes going. And the 8 car is running to today, as of when this video is out, on the Charlotte Roval race. Actually, the race will already be over as of when this is getting uploaded, but yeah, so Daniel Hamrick's going to be driving the number 8 or 31, whatever it ends up becoming. We don't know that for sure, so let's move on to just the next one. AJ Allmendinger. Probably one of the more feel-good stories for me, just kind of seeing him win a stage earlier this year, qualify second for the Roval, which is so funny because just the day before qualifying, it was announced that AJ Allmendinger would be replaced at the 47 by Ryan Preece. I forgot to get an image for Ryan Preece, but he will be driving the 47 car at the Daytona 500 for 2019 and will be running the full season, competing for Rookie of the Year. Now, I feel like AJ Allmendinger should have stayed, but I also feel like Ryan Preece does need a seat in the team, which is why, since Chris Buescher's contract was also up, they should have given Ryan Preece the ride with Chris Buescher, because AJ Allmendinger is their road course specialist. Chris Buescher is shown to be able to use the road course specialities that and learn road course racing, but hasn't really been able to provide a huge amount for the team. So I feel like you should have just tried to sell like Chris Buescher sponsors on switching from sponsoring Chris Buescher to Ryan Preece, because he is a talented short track driver and would be able to get you the kind of information on how to set your cars up for the short tracks and other ovals. I feel like that would be the right move. I feel like they're definitely making the wrong move. But that leaves AJ Allmendinger and Trevor Bayne now as basically free agents, as well as Matt Kenseth, because he's not coming to the 6 car. But yeah, so those are some of the free agents. I'll do an update throughout the middle of this video, just kind of on the different, the different free agents, because we'll have quite a list at the end of free agents and people who will be filling in different seats. But yeah, so then we move on to Kurt Busch. Now, Kurt Busch, he's been inconsistent at best last year, and he's been a lot more consistent this year. And actually, this is a pretty old picture that I found because it's the Chevrolet logo there, but yeah, Kurt Busch will be going and leaving the 41 car to go and drive another car, which we will get to in a couple of slides, but he will be taking over he will be going over and taking over the 1 car of Jamie McMurray. I'm not sure if this is official yet. This has been kind of what's been going around, and Jamie McMurray has mentioned how he's looking for a ride for next season. So my guess is if it's not already confirmed, because I do not know for sure if it's been confirmed that Kurt Busch will be going to the 1 car next year, but that's my prediction for Kurt Busch. But then that leaves us the 41 open, and you might have seen me accidentally click earlier to it, but I'm going to show you guys some of the people I think who are contenders for that 41 car at Stewart-Haas. First up, Matt DiBenedetto on Twitter came out and said that it was time for him to move on to a bigger and better team. Like, he's enjoyed racing with Go Fast Racing the past few years, but he just felt like it was time for him to move on from that team. Now, was this because he knew that Kurt Busch was retiring and he's in the Ford camp? He easily could get bumped up to that 41 car of, now Kurt Busch's might be Matt DiBenedetto's at the end of the season. Now, he seems like one of the most likely picks, but kind of keeping an eye on a team known as Rick Ware Racing, who has been driving Fords quite a bit this year. And seeing who they've been fielding the past couple of weekends, they've been fielding Cole Custer, who has been doing pretty well in that car, and with no official driver listed as the official driver for to fill in the 41 car of Kurt Busch. I feel like Cole Custer with these Cup Series starts is kind of trying to do the Daniel Hamrick thing where he shows Stuart Haas outside of just the Xfinity Series, where he's already a Stuart Haas racing driver. Trying to show them that he should be on their Cup team. But yeah, so I feel like it's either gonna. I feel like Cole Custer's the more likely option, but I feel like he's more likely gonna go to the 30. So I feel like Cole Custer is gonna go to the 32 car, and then Matt DiBenedetto will be going over to the 41 car of Kurt Busch's currently. So that's a whole jumble up. Leaves the 00 as an available one, but we're not focusing on the Xfinity Series today because that would be a much longer video trying to cover, and this is already going to be a long video to try and cover, and I've dug through a lot of different images. But yeah, we're going to be talking about mainly Cup Series in this video. So yeah, so Kurt Busch, he's out of the 41 and will be going to the 1 car in 2019 for the majority of the season. There is an offer on the table to Jamie McMurray to run the Daytona 500 and then take up a management role at the team. We don't know yet if he's agreed to do that or not. My guess is that he won't, and he'll be looking for a different ride. Because I don't think he wants to be done driving. So if he can find a different ride, I think he'll go there. But to be honest, I don't know where he'd go, to be honest. Like, just looking around at the different teams, I thought JTD Daugherty would be a spot he could go, but they already have their 2 drivers kind of locked in for this season with Ryan Preece and Chris Buescher, as previously mentioned. But yeah, and then, unless he goes to Hendrick Motorsports and Jimmy Johnson's ride, possibly, because I think Jimmy Johnson's car might be going away at the end of this season. Like, Jimmy Johnson might be leaving. As hard as that is to imagine, a 7-time champion leaving. We haven't seen that since, well, Dale Earnhardt's death and Richard Petty's retirement. And Richard Petty's retirement was quite a while ago. And Earnhardt, the day that he ended up dying, said that he had 20 more years of racing left in him. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think that's a spot where McMurray could fit in. I honestly think, though, he's probably done. And I definitely think he's done winning races. So, yeah. Moving on to the next one. We have the probably biggest storyline of this year, or at least this last few weeks. Martin Truex Jr.'s team of Furniture Row Racing is shut down at the end of this year. They lost 5 Hour Energy as a sponsor, and Barney Visser is not as excited about NASCAR as he was when they started up the team. And he's won a championship. He's won everything you can win as an owner in NASCAR. So he's going to try and go out on top with 2 championships. But that leaves MTJ with nowhere to go. But he's so heavily entrenched in Toyota. It's hard to imagine him going to, sure, he could go talk to Stuart Haas about taking over that 41 car, but I think the more likely option is this car and replacing this driver. I feel like he is going to take the 19 car and basically boot Daniel Suarez out of the car. So when it comes to Daniel Suarez, I personally like seeing him out there in the car. He hasn't won a race yet, but he was also kind of a late call up, like for Carl Edwards. I feel like in a year or two he might be really good, but it's really gonna take time, and it's time I think he either could have spent at a team like Furniture Row, kind of like how Eric Jones did, or in the Xfinity series, just kind of building some more skill. To be honest, I think Furniture Row Racing would have been the absolute best place for him to go and kind of bring MTJ in earlier. But yeah, so I think Truex is going to take over the 19 for Daniel Suarez, which would leave Daniel Suarez out of a ride, which that would seem kind of weird, him being only in his second year in Cup for him to be out of it. So my guess is he will either he could go talk to Go Fast Racing and try and get that ride after DiBenedetto left. I think the more likely option for him, though, the 95 of Kasey Kahne, he's announced that he's leaving, and I know it's not a Toyota, so it would be a manufacturer change, except for with Joe Gibbs not having to provide engines and stuff to Furniture Row because Furniture Row is closed. They could do the same thing with another team like Levine or like Go Fast Racing and basically offer them, here, we'll give you guys some engines. We'll kind of share some data between our teams as long as you let us put one of our drivers in your car. So like put Daniel Suarez in the 95. And I think that's probably what's going to end up happening with this car and driver. I think next year it's going to be a Toyota with a Daniel Suarez in the driver's seat. And I think that's probably might have been a little bit why Kasey Kahne retired. Like, of course, I think he's not like of course he's not going to be looking for another ride because he said he's retiring. So we know he's not on the free agent table. So currently we've got AJ Allmendinger, Matt Kenseth, Trevor Bayne that we know are on the free agent list, as well as Jimmy McMurray. So we're going through, and so that's a lot of the cars kind of covered. So that's a lot of the driver and combos that have kind of switch rounds kind of made. There is kind of one more I want to talk about briefly. I didn't bother getting any images because I think it's so kind of quick. I think Menard is either going to get promoted to a fourth Penske car this coming year, or he will be out of a ride to make room on the 21 car for the up-and-coming driver, Austin Cindric. I personally cannot stand Austin Cindric. Especially after what he did in the Truck Series in 2017 at Canadian Tire, where he blatantly dumped Kaz Grala going for a win, and Kaz Grala is had to end up fighting for his life to keep driving, pretty much. Like, I mean, he's a young driver, got in a wreck with a fairly new team, and had to basically prove to sponsors and race teams again. And just the way he treated it afterwards, it's like if you watch some of the clips, I don't have any ready for him right now, but just the way he talked about dumping Kaz Grala, I mean, he basically admits that it was intentional and everything, and it's like, I mean, how do you do that to someone you call a friend? Like, he says, like, oh, he and Kaz are really great friends. Yeah, some friend to dump him going for a win. I mean, I get you wanted to get into the playoffs, but Kaz Grala needed the points as well to get through the playoffs, and probably had a shot to win the to at least make it to the championship 4, if not win the championship, as a very young driver. So, now, as you guys can see, the picture I have up on screen is from the All-Star race this year. And this is going to be discussing the questionable rules package known as the All-Star race rules. And I feel like the All-Star race was great for what it is. It is the All-Star race. It is a once-a-year event. I feel like that is fine to have such a kind of wacky package and such a gimmicky package. And the fact that this is now the official kind of package that they will be racing on for 2019. Like, this is going to be the official package that they will be using. I personally, but yeah, I personally think this would have been fine if they were gonna just say, like, okay, 2019 All-Star Race, we'll use the same package, and we'll, like, run the Roval. Like, that would have been fine. But I feel like just running that package at every single track with, like, the tapered filter to give the same effect of a restrictor plate, I feel like it's just gonna cause all the race to be like the All-Star race, or like the 2018 Daytona 500, where you have basically just a dodge the wreck race, which I don't think should be considered racing. Like, I definitely don't think that should be considered racing in any sense of the imagination, but that's what it's looking like it's going to become. Now, I'm not here to be a complete downer, because I think Charlotte Roval and the All-Star Race are both great events, and, like, there are a lot of things that are supposed to be events and one-offs, like, but with the playoffs, like, with this being the cutoff playoff race, all the talk about the drivers going into the Charlotte Roval race wasn't about the Roval, it was about the playoffs. Like, every fourth word out of the announcer's mouth was playoffs or something along those lines. And it's like, you're talking so much about the playoffs and not about, and maybe a little bit about the Roval, but not really discussing the fact that, oh yeah, this is brand new and awesome. Like, of course, Cup Series race hasn't run yet as of when I'm recording this, but I personally think that I think they should go back to just the standard points format, where just the points leader at the end of the season wins the championship. So no leveling off points throughout the season, just you earning points for yourself throughout the season. I feel like stages, I feel like they can stay to, but, like, I feel like they should get rid of the playoff format to just make it so that the points leader at the end of the whole season wins it, so that events like the Darlington Throwback Race, the Brickyard 400, even the Daytona 500, and the Roval race even, will be events again. And you won't just hear people talking about, oh, like for Darlington and Indy and Roval this year. I mean, all the talk was about the playoffs, and especially this throwback race versus last year's. It was a lot more time about the playoffs than about the throwback schemes that were being run. And I just feel like, that kind of ruins the idea of the playoff or about the throwback race. Oh, man. But yeah, okay, let me just try and say that again. So I feel like just the playoffs being so close to the throwback race just kind of ruins like the commentating ability to focus on the race at hand versus looking at the big picture. And with the Daytona 500, same thing could be said for the race teams. Like the race teams, they're focusing on if, like, let's say they're Ricky Stenhouse Jr. or Austin Dillon. They know that they can win a plate track. And this is one of their 4 shots, or one of their 3 shots to win their way into the playoffs. Oh, yeah, if you win the Daytona 500, you're done for the... You don't have to worry about the rest of the season. You can basically sandbag the rest of the season, like Austin Dillon's been doing, and be in position to advance out of round 1. So, yeah. I personally think that the playoff format needs to go. And to be honest, this gimmicky format, I feel like it's the last gimmick that they have in their bag of tricks that they can throw at the cars without basically completely overhauling it a huge amount. I feel like, and the good thing about this is that because this is kind of the last gimmick that they can throw at it, they can introduce new tracks, like all the track sanctioning stuff gets renegotiated next year after 2019. So maybe we can get something like Road America in the playoffs for the Cup Series, or Eldora for the Cup Series. Get some of those tracks in there. Iowa maybe even, or some other small tracks like Rockingham. Get some of those in there, and IRP even, the road course at Indianapolis, like the Roval Indianapolis. Those kinds of tracks I feel like would be awesome to have, even if it's Xfinity races there. Like, I think the Xfinity race should definitely be run on the IRP road course for Indianapolis, like the Roval Indianapolis race, and then maybe the Cup Series will still race on the regular circuit. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts towards the 2019 stuff. Feel free to let me know your guys' opinion, because I know that yours is going to be vastly different than mine. Let me know if you guys think I have anything kind of leaning on here for kind of especially the 2019 package thing, because that's probably going to be the more impacted thing than the drivers shuffling around. I mean, I did kind of say what I think the right move for all the teams is going to be, but the bigger thing, though, is more just, I think that NASCAR, I definitely know that I'm not, like, all-knowing. I don't know exactly how to fix NASCAR's problem at this point. I actually think that they might be doing the best they can with what they have. Like, what they have right now is basically tracks are locked in and guaranteed that they will run this many races. And there is stuff they can do to change up the schedule and stuff. But, like, the majority of what they can do is very limited to the same tracks that we have. So I feel like they're doing probably the best thing they probably could with the track deals and everything. But yeah, so, and I just feel like there needs to be a big change next year when they have the availability of that all kind of opened up to them. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please let me know. Also, let me know your guys' thoughts, and if you guys agree with what I say, if there's parts you disagree with, I'd like to hear that too, and get a discussion going in the comment section. But please, the most important thing I please say, just be kind to one another in the comment section. I don't want to see people attacking each other and calling each other dumb. Like, oh, yeah, that's never going to happen. That's just a dumb idea. And it's like, I do not want to see that in my comment section. I will be removing rude and aggressive comments. So, just so you know, I will be taking a stand against any kind of attacking other people for that. Because everybody has an opinion, and they are free to share it with however they like. So I just want to thank you guys all for watching, and hopefully we can have a peaceful discussion in the comment section. See you guys in the next video. Bye.